Hey, you there. Thank you for watching, and welcome to Forge Alliance Forever. Today I have a 4v4 ladder match here on the map FANGTOOTH Islands. Let's go ahead and introduce our teams and our players, starting off with Team 1, also known as the Blue Team in the Northwest, and ending with Team 2, also known as Red Team in the Southeast. Starting off on his own little island to the northwest where in Tropical Ocean Blue, we have Mint Alex. He is a UEF for this match. He is a 1334 rated player. To his east, we have in Amethyst Purple. It is note he is a Cybern for this match as a 1717 rated player. He is the highest rated player on Team 1. To his southwest, we have in Stitch Blue, it is Neon Marine. He is a Seraphim for this match as a 1604 rated. And last but not least, for Team 1, we have in Royal Blue, it is Sailor Moon. He is a Cybern for this match as a 1453 rated. So for Team 1 side of the map, they have 2 Cyberns, 1 Seraphim, 1 UEF. Team 1 lacks the Aeon faction. Starting off with Team 2's Lone Man on his own little island, we have in Light Oak Tan, Gaba Gaba. He is a Aeon for this match, the one and only Aeon of the game. He is an 1195 rated. To his west, we have in Orange Color Orange, it is Drimmer. He is a Cybern for this match as a 1938 rated player. He is the highest rated player on Team 2 and in the game overall. To his northeast, we have in Ruby Red, it is Carl. He is a Cybern as well for this match as a 1615 rated. And last but not least, for Team 2 in Chevy Crimson, it is Joker. He is a UEF for this match. He is a 1285 rated. So for Team 2 side of the map, they have 2 Cybern as well as a UEF and an Aeon. The difference between Team 1 and Team 2 in this game is Team 1 has a Seraphim, Team 2 has an Aeon. Both teams have 2 Cybern and 1 UEF. And for these 8 players on the map, let's take a look at the reclaim situation. Currently sitting at 17,000 mass in reclaim, which makes it a little over 2k mass per player. Definitely worthy of going after all of that mass. A lot of it in the middle and a lot of it on the side islands as well. There's also these northeast and southwestern corner islands as well. So there is mass worth going after, as well as a decent amount of mexes. We'll call the north and western island Team 1s, as well as the southwestern corner, and then Team 2s be the southeastern corner. Maybe it doesn't look like it'll go to Team 2, but we'll just say it's Team 2's quote-unquote for now for mex counts. Team 2 side of the map, they have, again, twin mechs over here to the northeast with another trimex on the northern island here. There is 3 twin mexes here that Joker is going to go after, as well as to the west, another twin and trimex position to the west that Drimmer is getting, as well as another twin and twin over there. So there is mexes to go after. There's nothing super just 6 mexes just right next to one another kind of thing. But there is mass to go after, both in the mexes and in the reclaim situation. But of course, being a naval map such as this, there really isn't an island that can be protected in pretty much no case in terms of naval units being able to target anything on the island. I mean, pretty much everything, everywhere could be shot at by pretty much T2 destroyers, if not T3 battleships. So nothing is really safe. The only thing that's going to keep them at bay, of course, is counter naval units. And with that, let's go ahead to see where our players are headed off to. Being a naval map, like I said, there's going to be a little bit less, well, a lot less, I should say, combat in terms of the comm department. It's going to be a little bit more based on just throwing a bunch of units at a pile and seeing who survives kind of thing. And of course, air is going to be way, way important because you got to get those you got to get those torp bombers online way sooner. Last thing you want is a fleet of destroyers barreling down at you and you have nothing to defend yourself in both the water and the air. So you're going to want to make sure that at least a couple players on both teams have T2 air facilities at a minimum. And of course a T3 just to fight the other team's ASF. We do see there's a small landing of some troops to the west by Drimmer. trying to establish a foothold, but we do see Sailor Moon's inbound. It's only one T1 PD, so nothing too worrisome. He can take the damage. If there was 2 or 3 of them, wouldn't be great. And even we see that the wall section has been rebuilt by Germer, and Sailor Moon is forced back, so he's going to be a little bit annoyed about that, but at least he's not dead, so he'll probably be thankful for that it's only just one T1 PD. In the east, we do see that Mint Alex has grabbed the northeastern corner of the map, pumping in a bunch of T1 spam just to secure it, just in case. We do see in the west, with some assistance from a frigate nearby, he's trying to take out that T1 auto gun, but there's a couple of T1 Medusa nearby, and he's protecting those Medusa with his comm. And that PD is pretty much now offline, so he doesn't really have to worry about it too much. The wall sections aren't there anymore, so it's not really a huge concern. And it's now offline, so there you go. That facility is now taken out. Team 1 has also grabbed the middle of the map as well. We do see that Carl is moving in. He's just actually holding position, going for, looks like a stealth upgrade. We'll see what he ends up going for. It's taken a little bit to go for that upgrade, so we'll see what he's actually going for here in a moment. Oh, he could be going... I highly doubt he's going for laser. Way too early for that. Do you see in the east of that Team 2's Joker's now secured his island. So again, the game not necessarily favoring Team 1. It's slightly favoring them in the middle. And both teams have at least one of the islands, so I guess at this point, Team 2 gets the southern one, Team 1 gets the northern one, instead of being a vice versa. But, you know, one team gets one team gets the other one. That's the end of the story, essentially, at that point. T2 Naval Facility now online here for... What is that? That's Nya Marine. He also, of course, has a T2 Air Facility as well. So you'd see a small fleet starting to congregate over here on the tip of the island for Joker. You see a couple of forces inbound from Joker as well to the middle to help just push back a little bit of forces on the island. But nothing really straight down the middle. Looks like there was a 1 unit down the middle, but it just got eradicated. In the west, though, transport inbound. Comm on an upgrade. Not going to be denied. There's not that much firepower. So it was a nice attempt, but it just wasn't going to stop him anytime soon. Now, if a couple of them, transports filled with units dropped on top of him, maybe that would have been enough, but one isn't going to be enough to stop him by any means. Starting torpedo for Sailor Moon at T2 Naval Headquarters is done for him as well. Torpedo is what he was going for. I mean, he is a Cybran that does, make sense. He would go for torpedo. But of course, there are now hover units online for Team 1's Note. And of course, they can't target anything in the water in terms of underneath the water. And actually, no, scratch that. Because he's Cybran, it's actually, yes, he can target them in the water. Because they're Wagners, they don't float, they sink to the bottom. But Joker comes in, takes out that unit with a nice little destroyer there. So there's one Wagner down the middle. There are a couple of mexes I forgot to point out in the water as well, so they are vulnerable to our torpedoes. So this is a nice little grouping of 2 T2 mexes, so that's not going to be helpful for Carl's eco in the middle there. Torpedo is done for Sailor Moon, going tactical and missile for Nya Marine. So again, he's not UEF, so we can't go for Billy Nuke, but having a missile at the minimum is better than nothing. We do see that pseudo Navy online for Team 1's Note, helping to keep at least Joker's fleet at least back for now. Small engagement here. Of course, the numbers will win that fight. It's not necessarily about, who has the better tech or whatever. It's just how many of one unit does the other person have, essentially. There's a mermaid in there that will get taken out. Yep, that'll get taken out, but the rest of that fleet will be demolished by Note due to the just amount of destroyers and also torpedo bombers overhead, so that's never a good thing. In the west, again, kind of a similar story happening, but it does look like Team 1 has grabbed the southwestern corner. So with the north and southwest and the middle, Team 1 has the map control, or at least higher map control in terms of the land. Water is always fluid. I mean, unless you're sitting right where my cursor is right here. in terms of having a naval fleet. I mean, really, it's any pushback could just mean you lost half of the water instantly. It's very back and forth. So water is just one of those really hard things to count in terms of having full control over it. Missile outbound from Meow Marine. He's just on the tip of the island going after a nice little mechs, but it does get shot down, unfortunately for him. Meow Marine is getting shot at by the fleet nearby. There is a couple of destroyers and a siren here, and he's really trying to avoid the shots. Got to be careful, though. Missile outbound takes out the mermaid, I think is what he... that or a frigate, one or the other. I don't know exactly what he hit. We do see some fleet inbound from him to at least assist dealing with this. Of course, Carl is over here next door to his fleet, helping out with his torpedo. That's going to kind of balance things out a little bit, but Meow Marine is suffering. Ooh, he's going to try to dodge as much as he can. There's not enough firepower here for him to just break through the fleet, and this might be the first kill of the game. He's really trying to dodge. Just walk in a circle, walk in a circle. Team 1 bombers over the top, not going to help the situation out for Meow Marine, and there he goes. First kill of the game goes to Team 2's Carl against Team 1's Meow Marine. It is now a 3v4 in favor of Team 2. We see in the west, Team 1's Sailor Moon with a stealth and torpedo upgrade on board, trying to go after Drimmer with his torpedo and nano upgrade on board. So there's a fight via the Cyberns in the water. Looks like Drimmer has a little bit more destroyers than Sailor Moon does, but at this stage, he's really not going to send them in because it's just not going to be great. He could probably take out some of the forces on that island, but not going to make a huge enough a difference right now, especially with torpedo bombers inbound. Looks like they're going for the comm. Again, he has nano on board, which will help out immensely, but he's going to be forced into land, or onto land, I should say, nonetheless. He's dropping into the yellow. Another pass with a couple of those bombers. It won't be enough to kill him, but it'll definitely force him into the land nonetheless. In the east, looks like Team 1's Note pushing in against Joker. A couple of forces on the northern shore there. Nothing really happening in the northeastern corner. Still a lot of spam hanging out, but maybe he's going to build some transports and send them somewhere maybe, or just keep them there. Who knows, but maybe try to send them in nonetheless. Looks like there is it looks like there's all mech marines. And torpedo bombers, torpedo bombers, torpedo bombers, and of course more torpedo bombers. Fleet from Team 2 engaging Team 1's Amethyst Purple's Note. Unfortunately, there's way more forces here for Team 1, and they're going to win that fight both in the air and in the water. We do see Carl is being forced back. Of course, he has torpedo on board, so he's going to be slowly able to take out some of these forces, but there's a couple of destroyers in here. He's going to have to be careful how long he sits there. And in the west, that attack is just going back and forth. There's really no ground or water being gained one way or the other. It's just a lot of back and forth. And we do see Sailor Moon going for an upgrade. Most likely Nano, I would presume. Maybe it's T2, but I would assume it's Nano first than anything else. And then we see the fleet here for Team 2 still stronger than Team 1's. And with that upgrade, yep, it is Nano, so it is the case. And in Team 2's case, they lose Carl to Mint Alex's torpedo bomber run, assisted by the pushback from Note. So this game is now dropped to a tie once again at 3v3. And that give Drimmer a secondary base. Team 1's Note has a secondary base. So actually, no, excuse me, it goes over to Joker. So Joker gets double base, which will be very, very useful for pushing back in the middle and in the northeast. No attempts really to try to take the land in the middle of the map. Again, there's a couple of mexes. There is the radar system in the middle for Team 1, which is great. They have a backup one over there. They're getting a lot of intelligence gathering, which is very, very nice, of course, just to be aware of what's going on the map. Would like to see maybe the middle one go for Omni. It is a lot to invest, but it would be useful at a minimum. We do see that Drimmer is being forced back by Sailor Moon's comm and the remaining destroyer forces. And Drimmer is up to 1-star veterancy. Sailor Moon's up to 3-star veterancy. And it looks like comm v comm action actually has occurred. We see Drimmer firing his torpedo into Sailor Moon's chassis, so that, I believe that is the first come-on-come action, if not a couple of moments ago. T3 air upgrade has started for Sailor Moon. Team 2 has T3 air already, and that's going to help out with securing the skies. Team 1 also has T3, but it just looks like another player is going for air, which, again, in a map like this, tends to be the case. We do see the lovely, lovely Bulwark shield boats coming online, as well as the Neptune-class battlecruiser, one of my favorite naval forces in all of the game. They're very, very great. Who can't not love dual laser cannons on board? Just devastating everything. It's great. I love it. You see Drimmer's back on land. Once again, that torpedo upgrade is useless on land, so he's going to have to dip his toes back into the water so he can use that upgrade. They will snipe Sailor Moon now. Sailor Mood? Oh, what? Sailor Moon's on Team 1. Oh, so it's Carl talking to Joker. Okay. Most of the destroyers are gone, says Carl. Okay, so maybe. But if he gets on the land, he should be fine. If he stays in the water, he might be killed off. There's no air force of torpedo bombers nearby anywhere, so really it'd have to be a huge push with Navy, and by that point he would be on land trying to avoid shots. Eastern side attack is inbound from Note. A couple of hovertech sinking units, or units at the bottom of the ocean, as well as the fleet back here. A couple of Seraphim units, as well as a decent host of Cybran ones. In the middle, counterattack is inbound. A couple of Neptunes are going to be leading that charge, and this is going to be huge because this might force this fleet to back up. Maybe. We do see, of course, the Neptunes are just kind of going back and forth, and they're able to attack at range, dealing a lot of damage to Note's forces. Of course, he does have a nice little Seraphim cruiser in the mix, but there is a Bulwark shield nearby helping to protect those units underneath its shielding. But it looks like Note is going to continue to pressure. Team 2 doesn't really have much over here. The Neptune, actually, no, that's not even a Neptune. That's a Summit. Once that's done, that actually should be enough to force this group of forces back. He'll lose some stuff on his island, but he should be fine. Granted, he is on the island himself, so that's going to be a thing. He'll get the warning that his comm is under attack. Maybe he'll move it. I don't think this is enough to kill him outright. And there are, of course, torpedo bombers in the air for Team 2. And they're going to go after, looks like the Wagners? Or no, maybe that destroyer that just died. More mexes are going down. But most of the forces have died down. Even fire from the Summits nearby and a Neptune has come back to assist. And with those two units nearby, that's going to be enough. Lots of ASF here for Team 1's Mint Alex. On Team 2 side of the map, airfight will occur, will favor Team 1 most heavily, and that will be an air victory for them. But again, there's not that many ASFs in the air, at least right now. Sailor Moon losing forces just back to back to back. It's just a point-click death adventure here for Team 1's. Sailor Moon's forces, every time a unit comes into range, it's just point-click, dead, dead, dead kind of thing. We do see torpedo bombers are inbound. They're going to go for the comm. That's not going to be great. He needs to get on land immediately. He'll make it. He'll be fine. Oh, man, it's going to hurt, but there's a lot of destroyer fire inbound. He can't just pop into the water because he's going to be hit by torpedoes. ASF's are nowhere to be found for Team 1's Mint Alex. They're in the north. And Sailor Moon Knight just died of this. Torpedo bombers now going after the other facilities to slow down reinforcements. Sailor Moon just really wants to keep his feet not on land, but also not in the water. He's dropping into the red. That's a lot of artillery fire inbound. There are some counter torpedo bombers inbound to assist, but it's not going to be enough. There he goes. Team 1 loses another player. It is now a 2v3 in favor of the red team of Team 2. And with that, I think it's a good time to take a look at the game overall. Team 1 sitting at 870 mass per second. Team 2, maybe 1.3. Scratch that. Maybe 1.3k mass income. Team 2, 1.1k mass income. Scratch that 800 mass that I said, probably be due to the transfer of units and whatnot. Team 1 has 2 players left, being Note and Mint Alex. Looks like Note's going to be the frontline player, and then Mint is going to just be the dedicated air player. Team 2 lost Carl, so we have Joker for the east, Drimmer for the west, and Joker for the middle. And then, of course, the air player of Gaba Gaba. Map control, it's starting to kind of shift. It looks like Team 1 was in the lead for a while, but it's starting to be eradicated by Team 2 and be taken over. Well, let me know down in the comments who you think is going to currently win this game at 28, almost 29 minutes. Thank you so much for watching. I really, really, really do appreciate it. If you haven't done so already, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. And, of course, as always, thank you, thank you, thank you so much. I really, really, really do appreciate it. You see in the east, air fight occurs once again. That Restore Ball got just annihilated. And that's not going to feel good here for Team 2. Restorers cost a lot, but they are really nice. SMD 90% here for Salem Moon. Salem Moon's still in the game from Beyond the Grave. Oh, he's talking about his own, okay. So there is some SMD defenses. Granted, this map definitely would benefit if somebody had a mobile nuke, because you could get in from a corner or whatever and fire the nuke and try to avoid the SMD. We'll see if our players go that route. We still have another little over 20 minutes, so plenty of time for things to pop off. And there's really nothing on this northern side. There's nothing remaining of Team 2's Air Force besides just a couple of restorers. Summit over here to the east. It's really suffering. And, of course, the Summit designed for taking out larger units like the Galaxy, of course, but being swarmed by smaller units isn't really its forte by any means. And it's being just pummeled to death, both in the underwater scenario and in the above water scenario. Oh, it's just not a good day to be a Summit in this game. Nope. In the west, attack trying to be derailed by Team 1's Note, but there's so many forces in their area. Most of them are destroyers, however. There's not a lot of AA, so Torp Bombers getting tons of value out of it. So it's not necessarily about stopping it. It's just about how much are we going to lose, because it's just going to be a war of attrition kind of thing. Are the destroyers going to walk on land? Now, if that happens, it will save them in terms of being shot at by torpedoes, but oh, yep, they are. They are going to invade on land. So in a map that's 70+% water, we have destroyers going on land because why not? And, of course, torpedo bombers are now ineffective against them. You're going to have to bring in land units. Land units are going to have a hard time getting anywhere near that group of destroyers. That is almost 24, I think. Oh, no, it's a little over a dozen. Okay, it's not as much as I thought. But still, that's a lot of shots. And it's just going to slowly rip everything on this island apart. Not a fun day to be a land unit in this game. Nope. Nope, nope, nope. T3 air facility has been started by Note. He already has one. He has a secondary one. And then maybe he's going to build one here. So he's going to have 3 T3 air facilities. And Nuke online for Team 1's Mint Alex. That'll be a little bit of a spicy play here for Team 2 to deal with. I don't know if Team 2 knows about it. Oh, they know nothing about it. So, not a good scenario for Team 2 to be in. They do have an SMD here. It is loaded. They don't have one over here. And they don't have one over here. So, at least the air grid is protected. But besides that, everything else is kind of vulnerable to everything else. We do see Restore Ball just being heavily denied by Team 1's air player. They want no part of any sort of gunship ball in this game at all. I'm surprised they're not trying to airlock Team 2 at this point. And I'm also surprised that Team 2 just hasn't built more cruisers at this point, because there's a lot of ASFs that could have died. There's a couple cruisers, I will admit, but there's not that many, considering, you know, UEF and missile ships. Not missile ships, but cruiser missiles and whatnot. And here comes the fleet inbound, couple of battleships behind a couple of Yassaus. Love to see those T3 subs. Very annoying unit. We do see a couple of forces are not necessarily heavily damaged, but it's not doing well. You see a Galaxy and a Neptune up there, and they're going to move in to intercept this group of forces right down the middle. And this is the problem where Team 2's fleet are meeting together to go after the one fleet from Note, which will put him in a not great position. He does have some assistance in torpedo bombers inbound from his teammate of Alex, but it's just going to be a scenario where they're just going to be sandwiched. And of course, the Yassaus can't really be targeted quite easily on the move, but It's just not a great scenario to be in if Team 1 is sending the forces in. Torpedo bombers are inbound. Looks like they're going for the headquarters. The bulwark finishes at a great time. And the bulwark will block essentially all of the damage. And it looks like the forces from Note are actually going to just continue on southward. They're going to shift, going for this facility. No, I don't know. There's a couple of galaxies in the water. Of course, they're targeting the battleships from Team 1. In terms of numbers, it's a tie game. It's a 3v3 in this area, but there's more forces inbound. Of course, you got the Yassas and some of the destroyers underneath the surface to deal with. There's also, of course, Salem's in the water as well. But looks like most of those Yassas have now been dealt with. One of the battleships is down. Not a good scenario to be in for Team 1. Lots of forces going to die here, pretty close to Team 2's front line. Reclaim on the map, currently sitting at 180,000. Lots of reclaim. Most of it on the west, and in the east looks like that Salem Horde got ripped apart. I don't know where, actually, where did they all go? Nuke is outbound from Team 1's Alex. I mean, there was, a little over a dozen over here. Where'd they all go? They've taken most of the facilities out here on this western island for Team 1. The Note's eco is not bad, but it's just hurting a little bit. Oh, yeah, I don't know where all those Salems, they must have all died at some point, but there's a lot of them there. Nuke is going to go right down the middle. Looks like it's shifting a little bit to the east. It's going to probably strike at this facility, knock out the T3 Cybern headquarters, which, I mean, it's a nice grab. There's still a UEF one over here for Joker to use, so it's not like he's losing T3 naval tech, but at the minimum, he's going to suffer a loss in production, which is always nice to take out. And maybe that SMD is going to be close enough. Oh, it's going to be more than close enough. Looks like it was going for the air grid, actually, not the facilities of the naval side of things. So it was a nice attempt by Team 1's Alex. I feel like there was, of course, other things that could have been taken out. And I think a little bit of scouting would have been better to just say, okay, there's an SMD here, there's SMD here. What can I actually hit, sort of thing. Another attack in the east outbound from Note, and he has multiple battleships and a decent amount of Wagners, so really deploying those Wagners to hide from any of the main cannons on the naval units from Team 2. And of course this fleet going to go through a little bit of a little choke point, but they want to protect the production facilities. 2 summits come off the line, pretty much one after the other, so that's not a good thing for those galaxies for Team 1's Note by any means. Still kind of a, not this stalemate, but these are all engineers. So Team 2 is kind of giving up going after this western side for a little bit. They're, I think, more focused on going after other things. Looks like Yassau's stacking up over here. Still, I don't see any plan Bs or any sort of T3 tactical missile, or sorry, strategic missile subs. We'll see if somebody deploys one or not. I just feel like the versatility of being able to move them around the map is huge. Again, especially on a map that's 70% plus water. Very, very nice. Torpedoes inbound, but the naval forces are fleeing, but the galaxies are fleeing. So it's just not a great scenario for Note's forces to be in. And then that's reclaim for Team 2. So ASF are inbound once again. Team 1 has really been in Team 2's just neck of the woods for a while with their Air Force. I'm surprised that Team 2 just hasn't built more and more AA at this point, both in the mobile and in the stationary. And here comes the attack on those Hathum class battleships who can produce nukes, of course. Not that they hardly do, but you really have to commit to building one, because you're going to have to, put that on the front line, and is that worth it versus stockpiling a nuke? And so in the east, that galaxy is dead. It got a little bit more distance, but not by much. So unfortunate, but it does happen from time to time. Another attack in the west side here for Drimmer, against Drimmer. And it looks like Team 1's Note is just attack any vector at any time to just draw attention away from the everything. And it works in some instances, especially if it was on the reverse where Note is the one being attacked, where, you have so many things to worry about, your APM, all that. But I don't really think it's working for Note, just because Team 2 has 2 players on the front line in terms of Navy versus 1. And then you have an air player just spamming a bunch of torpedo bombers. That galaxy is done. Sorry, not galaxy. That Hathum is done. The galaxy couple more of them still holding in. But I've noticed a little bit more AA for Team 1 than Team 2. So I feel like that could be something that Team 2 could easily do. Air fight happens over AA. That's not great. And there's just more numbers for Team 1's mint. So not a good day for Air Forces for Team 2. Not a good day. Another nuke is outbound. Where is this one going? It's going... I don't know where it's going. Going southwest. Looks like it's going for Drimmer's base, but there's an SMD and it is loaded, so unless he nukes right here, there's really nothing that he can take out. That's a lot of galaxies. That's a lot of them there. That could be enough to maybe just punch all the way through maybe this facility. I mean, most of the forces for Team 1 are on this northern side, and actually some of them are already engaged. You could send them in this way, or you could take the long road and go all the way around, but there's more galaxies down here. Drimmer is just pumping those things out. There's one Hathum, but there's, again, 3 galaxies, 1 galaxy for Team 1's node as well. There's more forces holding station as well as more coming in all the time. The nuke is shot down once again. Unfortunately, the nuke is unsuccessful. I mean, it happens from time to time. It's just, you know, sometimes nukes happen really, really well one after the other, and sometimes they don't. You know, it just depends on the map and if the other team's prepared and all the other stuff. There's a lot of factors go into it. In the west, looks like the hovertech units from the Enzian trying to just break up the front line. It's doing decently well. You know, 2 galaxies are down. Giving a little bit of breathing room for those galaxies and Hathum, those battleships, to flee. It's forcing Drimmer back a little bit. There's a couple of Yasa's in the mix, which are helping out. But there's a lot of lead being thrown down range by those cruisers because they can attack ground and naval units as well. So a little bit of progress is being made by Team 1, but I don't think it's going to get super far into Team 2's main production facilities, especially with a fleet to the north from Joker and a fleet to the west inbound from Drimmer as well. So it's really going to keep Team 1's attention for a while. On the eastern side, forces have stacked up, and now finally, after I don't know how many minutes, they're going after the island. So this will be knocked out for Mint Alex. He'll lose a couple of T3 mexes. Definitely annoying for sure. I mean, losing any amount of mass is annoying, but especially T3 mexes. It does look like this force is going to be focused down by this group of forces, which might allow some time, but there's more battleships inbound from Notes, so it's just going to be kind of the same situation that happened earlier, where there's just so many forces inbound from all directions or some directions that it's just going to be overwhelming a little bit. You have to either fall back or take the heavy losses, one or the other. Torpedo bombers inbound aren't going to help the situation at all. Another nuke is outbound. That's the 3rd nuke of the game, and unless Team 1 somewhere built Team 2 built a nuke, or Team 1 built another nuke, it's going to be outbound from Alex. Want to get a nice little shot there of all the galaxies. And that nuke is going to the east. Now this one is... it's going to be close. A lot of engineers going for the SMD. It's like I said, it's going to be close. I don't think it's going to load, however. Ooh. I'm going to keep my mouse on it to try to keep it track while I look at other things. Galaxy's being pushed back in the middle. Drimmer has forced back. Note once again. Here comes the nuke. It is going to land. The SMD is not going to load in time. Kaboom! There it is. First nuke of the game. First nuke of the game to land. Takes out the UEF facility here. Summit's perfectly fine. Wondered why all of his friends just got annihilated. Airfight will occur once again. Ooh, that's not great. I mean, there's a tiny bit of AA in the area for Drimmer, but I mean, that's not great here for Team 2's ASF count at all. And that will knock out a huge portion of Team 2's production facilities on the eastern side for Joker. Loses a couple of mexes, but it's mainly the T3 naval headquarters and all of that he's really losing access to. Tactical missile done for Alex. Starting Billy Nuke. He's the air player, and he's doing very well in the air player department so far, so I don't really understand. Wait. That nuke landed. Is there another nuke for Team 1 somewhere? Hold on. Wait, that doesn't make any sense. That nuke definitely landed. It should have veterancy. It has none. What? Is that a glitch or something? Because that doesn't make sense. Oh, there's this nuke. Never mind. This nuke's the one. It's outbound from Note. 68,000 mass. Great grab there here by Note. I was like, wait, that doesn't make sense. So yes, somebody else on Team 1 did build a nuke. And is going to launch one here shortly again. Again, SMD coverage here and here. And there's, of course, the SMD rebuilt once again. Another nuke is outbound. And it's going to go here. It will be shot down. So, looks like No making a comment about nuke here to his teammates saying, hey, go for this same target. We're going to try to overwhelm the SMD defenses, which is SMD defenses, which is just defenses twice. The SMDs. Another nuke is outbound. I think it's going to strike the same location. This SMD is going to be loaded, so I believe both of the nukes are going to be knocked down, unless the nuke goes somewhere else, which it is going to go to the same place. So the first one is down, and the second one will get shot down. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. Barracuda's on the front line helping to thin out the numbers from Note. There's still just a constant back and forth. Now it's kind of shifted more to the middle instead of being closer to the western side of that northern side of the island. And in the east, you can just see Joker has lost a lot of momentum due to the destruction of his, well, half of his naval power. Here comes the nuke, and there it goes. So, nice attempt, though, from Team 1, but I do like the fact that they were trying to double down on Team 2 and trying to take out one facility, just one after the other with both those nuke launchers. I do love coordination there. And Team 2 is just, looks like they're starting to be boxed in the middle. Yep. That's a lot of galaxies still here for Drimmer. And in terms of eco, Team 2 and Team 1 roughly the same amount. Team 2 slightly ahead. Just, I mean, probably about maybe 100 or so. Nothing too crazy. But a whole mess of Torp bombers online just annihilate a summit. And there's not a lot of AA coverage in the mix, so that's going to be great for Team 1. And there's a decent fleet inbound, couple of galaxies. It's a conga line so far. They got to spread out a little bit so everybody can fire their guns. But in the middle, Team 2, like I said, is being boxed in. Lots of destroyers, lots of battleships, lots of the everything going on. Team 2 trying to keep Team 1 at bay. Torpedo bombers, though, sniping battleships to the east, though, is not helping the scenario by any means. Looks like the T3 naval facility for the UEF side of things is being rebuilt as we speak. And it's just, again, it's a slow game, Navy. It's just kind of how it goes. But because it's slow, there can be an instance where there's not really much that you can do. I mean, it's hard to see the death throws as it would be versus land is very quick, so you can see the trajectory of, oh, I'm going to lose, half of my stuff or all of my stuff in 30 seconds versus, oh, I lost like half of my naval force or half of my facilities. What happened there? Teleporter started for men. Is he going to go for tactical Bowie nuke strikes with the teleporter? Another one is outbound. Actually, it's outbound from... Where's it outbound from? I don't even... Oh, it's outbound from Team 2, so somebody did build a plan B. That was from Drimmer. It's going for this facility, or it's going to go for the this main one up here, which I highly doubt because there is an SMD already over there. So if it's going to hit, it's probably going to drop a little bit shorter. Yep, there it is. So that's going to grab another set of mexes here for Note. Kaboom! Takes all of them out. That's a very well-placed nuke there. That plan B did a lot of work. Great job there here from Drimmer. Where is that plan B? I don't... That could be just staring at me in the face. Oh, it's underneath something. I just don't see it. Oh, it's over here. 40,000 mass killed, but it's the T3 mexes. All that mass per second. That's probably a little over 150 mass per second, being 6 T3 mexes. That's a lot of mass per second that Note is not getting. And the attack is just barreling down on Team 2. They're being sandwiched in the middle on the eastern side. The attack is inbound. There's a couple of summits waiting to engage, but it's just not looking good for Team 2 for long term. We do see a couple of Barracudas coming in from behind, though. That's going to really help out, at least distract Team 1 a little bit on this western side. Note is probably just sending an all command order. At least that's kind of what I would have done, and just sent all my forces directly in. At least all the mainland forces. But to be fair to the north, there's really nothing left. There's a couple of battleships. The main of the attacks coming in from the west, and with that, all the forces from Joker can come in and collide with those of Drimmer, and this actually might save the day for a little bit. Lots of SACs running on getting some mass for their airplay of Gaba Gaba. And, of course, there's torp bombers being deployed. Team 1's air forces not really anywhere nearby to assist. And, of course, the comm for Mint Alex has a teleporter, missile, and RAS. So maybe he'll teleport in and kill a couple of stuff. Another nuke is outbound going for this position. Once again, SMD trying to be hit, but it's being covered, of course, by the environment there a little bit. There's only one shield there, though. So if they can take out the shielding and then take out the SMD, that will allow the nuke to land, and it won't kill off Drimmer, but it's definitely going to hurt. But there's a couple more battleships remaining. Another Galaxy is down. There's only so much time that Team 1 has left. Of course, the shields are being assisted by hives. Ooh, it's going to be close. The nuke is about to get into range. It's a now or never scenario. They got to kill it off. Boy, it's going to shoot the missile down. There it goes. They're too late, and the nuke is denied. And 2 more galaxies are going into the depths of the ocean. See some destroyers trying to rush in and distract Team 2 ever so slightly, but it's not enough. Team 1 has a lot of air forces. Team 2 does not. They've been losing air forces kind of consistently throughout the match. Another nuke is outbound. Please tell me it's going to the same spot again. It is. SMD is probably, honestly, not going to be loaded at this point. We even see an attack inbound on the land side of things, which is not great. So if they can't do it on Navy, they're going to do it on land. And there's a couple of actually units in the bay actually helping out, but I think they're going to break the shielding. They're going to get to the SMD, and the SMD, unfortunately, here for Drimmer is not going to be loaded in time. There's so much time that they need to really load that thing. We even see the RAS from Manning Hathum helping out with the shielding. Actually, maybe not. There's the Tickle Cannons over to the northeast helping out a tremendous amount. And the Enzino are not going to do it, but the nuke's going to grab it anyway, so it's not going to matter. So that's not super great. ASF wiping out the bombers here on the eastern side here for Gava Gava. And here comes a Billy nuke? No, that was Joker being killed off by Mint Alex. Looks like a bunch of torp bombers came in. And to the west, here comes that nuke. Kaboom! I mean, it looks... Oh, no, it's over here to the east. It's a bunch of Wagners. Looks... No, because Mint Alex got the kill. So... Huh. Well, Team 2 loses a player, and it's now a 2v2 game. Team 1 has artillery built, and that's a nice little disruptor. There are... Ooh, what is this? Apologies for missing it earlier, but there's a salvation online here for Team 2. In an artillery in a Navy game? Look at this. It doesn't have any PGen assistance, but, you know, fires fast nonetheless anyways. And there's some Wagner's inbound, which I don't think are going to get a lot of work done, honestly. Mint Alex has not teleported in, so yeah, that must have been just torp bombers. I think we saw some remnants coming in. So, like I said, Team 2 loses a player. Team 2 now has a salvation online, which, I mean, you could call that a game ender. It's kind of mixed in with a Paragon, so usually players build a Paragon and then the salvation. But here come the Wagners. They're coming in single file, though, so there's really nothing going to happen on that side of the map. And T3 artillery still online. Shields are being built as we speak, but a couple of shielding against the salvation is not anything to worry about for Team 2. ASF's over the top, of course. They'll spot the salvation, and Team 1's artillery will strike it. Team 2 doesn't know what's going on, though, so they have no idea that there's a T3 artillery installation done on this side of the map, which is not great for Team 2's salvation being kept online long term. see kind of the Navy dying down quite considerably. And now we see Drimmer is under full control of Navy. So it's Note and Drimmer in the water versus Gava and Mint Alex in the air. And Team 1's Air Forces are just holding position. A huge amount of torp bombers stacking up over here. I wonder what they're going to go for. I mean, the only column left in the water... I mean, there's 2 columns in the water, to be fair, but I don't think they know where Drimmer is, and I don't think they know where Gava Gava is. So there's also a lot of SACUs running around as well, so it's going to try to make things a little bit more difficult for Team 1 to spot where exactly that is. Nukes here, says Joker. Or you could just send the... Oh, I see. He's saying nukes are here, is what he's saying. Nuke is about to fire. The one from Alex is loaded, hasn't been given an order yet. Kill Artie, then nukes, says Carl. Kill air grid now, says Joker. Kill. It's just kill, kill, kill. Yeah, I would definitely kill this one first, because you can get the air grid and the nuke. Nuke is outbound, speaking of which, and it is going for this position. There is an SMD over here. It isn't loaded, so that'll be fine. And attack in the west. It looks like Team 2 is just going to keep Team 1 at bay a little bit. I think they're not going to attack. There's a couple of Barracudas running around, which isn't great, and a decent amount of Wagners to the north. There's also some missile ships online for Team 2's Gava Gava. Love to see those things deployed. They're going after those galaxies, kind of holding position, and the Hathum. I think they're trying to avenge their fallen battleships who tried to go after that SMD. Another nuke is outbound, going for the same position. There's only one SMD loaded, so one nuke will be denied, but the other one will not. But this nuke is actually going over to the eastern side. Looks like it's probably going to try to take out the Salvation, so scratch that. Oh, it's actually going to fall a little bit short. Ooh, doesn't get the headquarters. Kaboom! Does get a battleship, though, so that was nice. But doesn't grab the naval facility. Little bit unfortunate there. And the PGen air grid is not going to have a fun day. Shots inbound just constantly from that Salvation. Couldn't actually fire a little bit quicker if it was surrounded by some PGens. But it still fires pretty quickly nonetheless, which is very, very impressive. Does he have PGens? Oh, no, he does. For some reason, it looked like he didn't have PGens supporting the air grid. Well, here he doesn't for some reason. But whatever. Anyway. There goes one air facility. Ooh, it's just not going to be good. This PGen goes down. Yep, there it goes. The everything nuke is dead. And with that, half of the nuke power for Team 1 is knocked out. They have an artillery, and they have one more nuke. If they lose both of those, I'm not saying game is over, but there's not that much left. I mean, they still have naval power, of course, but there's a lot of stuff stacking up down here. I mean, there's a lot of galaxies kind of hanging out, so it's going to be kind of an all-out push. There's also another Plan B over here. Looks like this is the... Nope, these are two new ones. This is the old one. So there's 3 nuke subs online for Drimmer, so that's not great here for Team 1's longevity. Lots of strat bombers, though. We've noticed that Team 2 doesn't have a lot of AA, so that could be enough to take out maybe the Salvation. You could maybe go for SMD coverage and maybe use a nuke, but I think the Salvation's more of a direct threat at this point. There's also some missiles raining in from Team 2 from somewhere, it looks like. That's what it looked like, because there was stuff landing, and it wasn't Salvation fire. Yeah, what's that about? What is that from? I was gonna say, there's no way the nuke subs have that great of a range. Oh, those are... Oh, that's Team 1's stuff targeting the... Oh, that's awkward. That is awkward. But the strat bombers are inbound. They go straight down the middle, which you never want to go straight down the middle. Yeah, it's not great. You should have come... They should have come in from over here at least. Yeah. It's just... It's one of those scenarios where it's really kind of hard because there's really no angle. But Team 2 did build more AA coverage in the interim. Looks like Drimmer took care of that. And Mint Alex is going to teleport in. There he goes. Going to make a last desperate effort for his side of things. He's lost his nuke. He's lost his air grid. There's not much left that he has. in store. Again, even if Team 2 loses the salvation, they still have a lot of stuff available to them. Missile ships in the middle, huge amount of battleships to the west, nuke subs. I mean, we do see an attack in the east by Note over here, but there's a lot of stuff that's moving in to intercept that. Here goes the comm. The comm goes in. Oh, it's actually, that's Note. Apologies. That's not Mint Alex. Mint Alex uses the teleportation to kill off the salvation, but he does get a little bit of the air grid before he dies. But he does get the salvation. Apologies. I thought that was Mint Alex. But that is now a 2v1 game here, leaving Mint Alex all alone. Salvation is dead and gone. Team 1 still has their artillery, which was already being shot at as we speak. So that is not great here for Team 2, but Team 2 still has their 2 comms remaining, so there's other things in the works. The missile ships are slowly taking everything out. Looks like a couple of pigeons in the middle are going to not have a fun time here shortly. And on the western edge, battleships are going to conga line in. There's also a stack over them here for Mint Alex, but they're on the other side of the island, so they're going to have to maneuver over, and that's going to allow Team 2 to push in a little bit more. On the eastern side, oh, explosion happened in the base here from Mint Alex, and now it gets killed off. That is the game. Looks like he wanted to teleport in and strike, and that was really about it. Team 1, I mean, they had a lot going for them. They had 2 nukes, they had an artillery, they had a lot of things going for them, but I think, honestly, with that one salvation knocking out the nuke, it essentially forced Team 1's hand. They took out the salvation, though, Team 1, but at that point, they really didn't have much left. They had 1 nuke, 1 artillery versus Navy, which 1 T3 artillery is not going to make a difference. It'll try to take out stuff on the base side of things, but there's so much stuff in the water, so I can see why Mint Alex just shot his shot and then left and called it a day. MVP for me, for Team 2, I think it has to go to Drimmer. I think all the pressure he was putting on this western side constantly really just forced Team 1. Like, look at how many battleships are just stacked up here. They're not even moving in. They're kind of just hanging out, thinking, you know, okay, if the battleships come this way, then we're going to have to hold them off, and they're coming this way. So there's just one of those scenarios where APM a little bit definitely helped against Note, because, again, it was Note versus everybody else on Navy for a while. But I really do think Drimmer gets MVP for me, just because he really just held the line long term. But let me know down in the comments what you felt about the match overall. Thank you so much for watching. I really, really do appreciate it. And I will see all of you in the next one.